Welcome back, everyone. My name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a senior technical trainer with AWS Training and Certification, and with me we have, well, we just had lunch, so we'll see if he can remember his name.
I'm AM Ravelny. I'm a solutions architect here at AWS. Maybe not the host with the most, but an adequate, acceptable amount.
I got the peak. I'm the tallest of the point.
You are the host with the most.
Wait, hold on. We got someone else. Welcome to the
Hi.
show.
Hi, my name is Raghav Sodabatina. I'm an enterprise solution architect.
All right, so
All right.
we've got two topics to cover today,
Okay.
right? One
Yeah.
is OpenSearch. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about what that is.
Yeah.
OpenSearch.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other is
Okay.
SAML Federation into OpenSearch. So we'll
Right.
talk about what SAML is and how
Okay.
that is accomplished with OpenSearch.
You can have
right?
SAML Federation into OpenSearch?
Yes, it can.
I'm so excited now.
Yeah, let's talk
All right.
about OpenSearch. It was earlier called as Amazon Elasticsearch, and we renamed it to Amazon OpenSearch when we launched the OpenSearch as a open source project. But it will support Elasticsearch version still 10.10.x. And OpenSearch, right, it is primarily used for application monitoring, log analytics, and website search. And then you can aggregate the data, and then you can analyze it, and then you can find how your application is doing. Also, you can basically build the business metrics to track your business, how you are doing it in a real time.
So you said Elasticsearch was renamed or rebranded to OpenSearch?
Yes.
So now it's ES is now OS.
Yes,
Is
OS.
that part of the elk stack?
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
L-Stack, but it is OpenSearch, and we have vibrant developers who are contributing to it. And our product roadmap is in GitHub as well.
So now it's the elk stack.
Yes. Okay. You can call it that way. Yeah.
Doesn't quite have the same
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. No.
cachet as,
Right.
okay, Ulk.
Okay. So we'll talk about a little bit of SAML, right? You talked about SAML, right? The SAML basically security accession markup language. It's kind of a federation where you can federate with your external identity provider. It could be Okta or ping identity, or it could be Auth0, or it could be even Active Directory. And then
Can I
you
use my Amazon.com account?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Okay,
sure
okay.
Amazon.account, yeah.
All right.
That is different kind of a federation, but
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about how application team can build a log analytics, right? Let's say you are running a website. You wanted to monitor in live what is happening, right?
Yeah.
What you can do, basically, you can install a Kinesis agent. It's kind of a...
What is that?
Kinesis agent.
Kinesis, okay.
Kinesis
Like
agent.
video streams or
Yeah,
data streams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
talking about Kinesis Firehose here.
Okay,
What
okay.
it does, right? The
Or the
Kinesis agent can collect the log files.
Producer or consumer agents, right?
So it's just streaming the data straight into
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Log.
okay.
It can collect all the logs, and then it can deliver it to the OpenSearch. And then we have a OpenSearch dashboard where you can basically build the OpenSearch dashboard. It's nothing but Kibana kind of a thing earlier. We
Okay.
used to call as a Kibana.
That's the K
Right.
in Ulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what we do basically, right? In OpenSearch board, OpenSearch dashboard, you can build like user-friendly metrics, and
Okay.
you can track them, and you can also make some alerts based on what you see.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's OpenSearch. Does that mean it's also open source?
It is open source.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
And our product roadmap is available in GitHub, and you can see what version is coming when, and also you can always request for a feature so that it can be included in future
Awesome.
releases as well.
What kind of problems does OpenSearch help our customers solve?
The main problem is like many customers wanted to build a better customer experience. They want to do the proactive thing, not a reactive. They
Right.
want to see what is going to happen, in a real time, so that they can take an action before customer experience it, right?
It sounds like machine learning might be there somewhere too.
Oh yeah, I mean we do have we power OpenSearch with the machine learning based on your logs data. I mean you can really basically forecast it, and it is we do have already machine learning integration with OpenSearch, but we are going to add more to it. right?
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
I think that's interesting to call out too. But the trajectory of Elasticsearch, not necessarily the trajectory of OpenSearch that I'm talking about here, is Elasticsearch started out as a search engine, basically, a
Right.
search engine database
Yeah.
that optimized how to search for keywords, different, it breaks apart letters, things like that. But
Yeah.
developers, operation teams, they found that a good use case for this was storing a bunch of operational logs, because you could go
Right.
and do data analysts
A
on
bunch.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
at scale.
At scale.
At
It's
scale.
elastic.
That has been the kind of one of the key emerging use cases, I'd say,
Right.
of the elk or olk stack,
the-
Olk.
whatever we're
Yeah.
calling
We're
it.
on Olk now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've graduated.
But it's the same. I mean,
Right.
the thing is, OpenSearch is a open source project.
Right.
What we do with Amazon OpenSearch is a managed service, right? You don't need to
Yeah.
worry about software, hardware. You just focus on building your operational analytics or log analytics,
The
right?
beauty of managed services.
Yes. Yeah. You don't need to worry about it. Just focus on how to build log analytics or operational analytics or how to build observability, right? When you have application, you want to see end-to-end what is happening, right? That is where Amazon OpenSearch powers all the features to you so that you don't worry about software, hardware, you focus on building your applications, right? Because that is very important, right? Let's say you are running a lot of microservices, right? Where they are very critical to your application. You can track them with the traces. We have a traces where you can bundle with the logs. Both the traces and logs together will provide the additional insight.
Yeah.
So that you can take actions then and there. For example, in a given scenario, right, there could be an IT support team, right? They can create a OpenSearch dashboards, right? They can monitor in live what is happening, and then they can take action then and there.
So with these dashboards, you mentioned one thing, and that's observability. And we're here
Yeah.
at the DC Summit, where we
Yeah.
have a lot of public sector customers with us, and
Yeah.
management and governance seems pretty important for them.
Yes, I mean with the observability with the OpenSearch, we are trying to build a workshop where you can see end to end how they can build it, and you can even track like events also. Let's say you have a website you wanted to see, right, at the event level, at the microservice level, each microservice level, how the each microservice is performing, so that you can track them and make actions then and there. You
Yeah,
don't need to
that's
wait
awesome.
for something. For example, OpenSearch, right? You can build a metric in a OpenSearch dashboard based on what you see in the metric, right? You can use the Lambda and then simple notification service to send a notification or email, right? It
So
could be
can I
email,
use-
SMS.
I can use Event-Bridge. I can trigger
Yeah.
off some different
Yeah.
fire actions
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
forth, and
Yeah.
really have this event-driven architecture to that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've mentioned dashboards a couple times. I want to again bring us back to this conversation of, hey, we've got a bunch of logs.
Yeah.
We're doing our due diligence of collecting those logs. That's step one, right?
Yeah.
Are we
First
even
step.
collecting the metrics? Great. We're moving them.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Moving them into our storage layer, which
Yeah.
is OpenSearch.
OpenSearch, yeah.
Because that gives us the capability of running queries against it, in a nice performant way.
Yeah.
But now we actually want to get insight from that, so we're
Yeah.
going to build dashboards. You
Dashboards
mentioned
too.
Kibana.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
I
He
want to ask.
he mentioned Lambda. Is that the L?
No, that's
Okay.
logs.
Okay.
Log
Okay.
stash.
OpenSearch,
technically.
logs, and Kibana. Got it.
Kibana.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is,
Okay.
you get the dashboards. Not everybody should be looking at those dashboards.
Yeah, that's
right?
the reason, right? We recommend OpenSearch cluster, Amazon OpenSearch cluster, always launch in our VPC.
Right.
And then provide like a maybe reverse proxy or a Bastion host to access that, because that is your source of truth kind of a data, right? It's
Right.
kind of a database, right?
Yeah.
The only difference is you are storing the data in indexes as compared to rows and columns in a database.
I was kind of teeing you up, so to speak, too, to maybe tie in the SAML aspect here
Yeah,
for
let's-
logging into
Because
one
we
of
talked
these
about
dashboards.
SAML, like SAML 2.0 standards and
Yeah.
so forth. So how does that integrate directly or allow us to integrate into OpenSearch?
Yeah, for example, right, many of AWS customers, they're
Yeah.
using external identity providers like Okta, Auth0.
Yeah.
They have already usernames are there, groups are there, and they want to use the same thing. They don't want to duplicate again, use AWS Cognito or anything
Have a
else.
unique login.
Yeah.
It's the same login.
Right, same login, they want
Same
to use it.
identity, yeah.
Yeah, that is where many of our customers are looking for that condition. That is the reason we provided this SAML integration with Amazon OpenSearch dashboard.
An existing identity. Okay, cool.
Yeah, use existing thing. I mean, whatever you have, right? Let's say you have a group, and with that same group, you can basically use the same group credentials to provide OpenSearch dashboard access to your users. That users could be operational users who are responsible for managing your application and all.
That sounds like it really simplifies my process from an
Yeah.
end user because I have less to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
That helps.
I heard we've got ourselves a demo too.
Is there?
Yeah. I have a demo
We have a-
where
we have a blog.
I can show.
right,
I can
so
show
let's
you. I
get
wrote
your
this
screen.
blog. Based on multiple customer requests, I wrote the 3 blocks, one for Okta, one for Auth0, one for ping identity. I'm going to show the demo, just to give a minute. Let me grab this guy.
All right. So there's your blog post.
Yeah,
That's
this is
a nice
the blog
blog
post.
post.
Yeah,
Okay.
in order to create a SAML, right, you need to have a OpenSearch with the fine-grained access control and an Okta account where you need to have a user and group, and then they both need to talk together, right? So now we got here OpenSearch domain here. Let's see here, we have a domain here. And we have to make sure that fine-grained access control is enabled. That is where
What is fine-grained access control, and how
That
does
is
that
where-
allow us to work with our customers?
Yeah, that is where you are enabling your groups, right, within the Okta or external identity provider to access. That is
Okay.
where you wanted to provide. You don't want to open your cluster to everybody, right? Now we are getting into Okta here, where we are trying to create one sample user ID. I just created like a SAML demo or something like that. And then we'll create a couple of users, and then we'll create a group, pretend that that group responsible for accessing your OpenSearch dashboards. And then what it is going to do, it is just creating you have to enter an email ID.
As the username?
Yeah, the username.
Okay,
For
okay.
Okta, it is a username.
Okay.
And it all depends on your, basically, your external identity
So you're
provider.
entering SAML.2 or SAML
It's just like a
words
dummy
after
user.
lunch.
Yeah, dummy user. And for this example, what I'm doing, I'm trying to create some sample password, right? That way, I don't need to ask them to
Is
reset
the
and all.
password sample?
Password is not sample. I can't reveal the password. Password is password.
You say sample or SAML?
SAML. It's a SAML user ID. Password, it could be anything.
Okay.
I'm just trying to create
This
one
is
more
creating
user
the
ID.
identity in the identity.
Yeah.
provider.
Yeah.
I just want to show the end-to-end flow, how it works,
Yeah.
so that it is easy to follow.
Totally.
The goal of writing a blog is to provide step-by-step procedure.
Yeah.
That way, the customers can follow my blog and then
Yeah.
build their SAML federation.
Totally.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so unchecking user must change password on first login to
Yeah.
help, kind of skip that when you're first jumping in.
I mean,
Perfect.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. And then once you create a user, right, this is where we are going to create a group, right? That group could be a OpenSearch, right, or OpenSearch dashboard to make it
Okay.
simple, right? Okay, this group is responsible for monitoring OpenSearch
So
dashboard.
this is where you have fine-grained access, because now you can
Right.
say, I only want to allow the OpenSearch demo group access to certain parameters or
Exactly.
elements. Okay.
Right. And then what we are going to next, right? We created a group called OpenSearch Demo, and we are going to add these 2 users who we created into that group, so that only those 2 users will be able to access the OpenSearch dashboard.
Got it.
So now we have a group, and now if we go back to the blog, right, then we need to basically prepare Amazon OpenSearch for a SAML configuration, right? That is the step which we are talking about. And we'll go back to the OpenSearch here. We click on a security configuration. We'll edit there. You see there is a enable SAML authentication. That is where
see
we
that.
get all the URLs, right?
The checkbox there.
Checkbox, yeah, exactly.
okay.
You have to enable that. Otherwise, you won't get those URLs because
Got
they are
it.
very important. And then here in Okta, we are going to create a SAML 2.0 application.
Specifically 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0, because that is an open standard. I mean, we don't want to mess it up. You know? So we can put an application name, whatever. For this example, we are creating a OpenSearch dashboard. And then here, right, single sign-on URL. If you look at the blog post, the single sign-on URL is basically, it is given here. It is SP-initiated SSOR. What is
Got
SP? Service provider.
Service provider,
provider
okay.
is nothing but Amazon OpenSearch.
Got it.
And if you go back to the OpenSearch dashboard, we have a URL there. I just copied and then I pasted it here. And then we need to provide the service provider entity ID. Okay. That is nothing but our OpenSearch dashboard URL. All right.
Yep.
And then next, right, we have to configure some of the attribute to make sure that they both handshake each other. They both means Okta and Amazon OpenSearch.
And that's why we're using the email address,
Yeah,
because
email
it's looking
address.
for that. Okay.
Yeah, email address. Okta, right? Authentication is email address. That is the reason we are mapping email
Yeah.
address. As soon as user is entering their email address and password of Okta,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they should be able to get in.
I think
Nice.
it's helpful to say, explain what the identity
Yeah.
provider authenticates our user.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And we rely on that identity provider
Right.
to authenticate.
Yeah.
And then we allow our identity provider through SAML
Yeah.
to validate
Yeah.
that we have authenticated this person, and then this person has permissions to OpenSearch based off of their identity.
Exactly.
In the
yeah.
initial identity provider.
Yeah. So now once email is done, right, we also make sure that only the particular group will have access. That is the reason we are mapping a group attribute here, right? Here we are putting a group like what are the group we created. That way, here also we are using the URL reference, and then we are trying to match the group name. Instead of hard coding it, we don't want to hard code it. We are just putting the basically open so that it can find the group associated with the open.
Right.
And then basically once it is done, right, we are making sure that everything is we did it, and then we just basically click on finish. That way we are configuring SAML configuration from Okta end.
Yeah.
Now we need to take this configuration and do it in Amazon OpenSearch.
Right, because we don't actually have
Yeah.
access yet. We've only authenticated and said
Yeah.
like this group
Right.
is this group.
We've created
Yeah.
those controls.
We created a configuration controls at the
Yeah.
Okta and
There's
identity
no
provider end.
authorization yet.
We're signing it now, so we're starting
Yeah.
to get some
So
authorization.
now what we are doing,
Yeah.
we are trying to give the access to the group. I mean, making sure that the SAML application, whatever we created, that group, whatever has, it has access. Now, in order to configure OpenSearch SAML, right, we need to download the metadata. This is what we are downloading metadata from Okta, and then we are going to use this for configuring Amazon OpenSearch here, right? So that is where we are importing here. And then if you come down a little bit, right, this is where backend role. Backend role is nothing but Okta group name here, right?
So that's where you put the group name into
group
the,
name.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm just copying here, right? I'm just copying the group name here.
Right.
And then putting into Amazon OpenSearch backend role here. And then additional settings, there is a roles key. Roles key is nothing but the group attributes.
I'm so sorry. I have to stop us here because we are out of time.
Okay.
We got
Okay.
30 seconds left.
Okay.
We've got a good introduction to this blog post.
Okay.
How about we tell the audience where we can go find that blog post so that they can continue it on their own?
Yeah, there are 3 blog posts are there. They should be able to basically follow this. They are part of architecture channel.
Okay,
And then
great.
basically they can build themselves. And
All
if
right.
they have any questions, they can always reach out to me. And if you see, there is already the authentication is already done, and then they can access
we
it.
have to
Okay.
go.
All right,
unfortunately.
great. Okay.
Go check out the architecture blogs
Yeah.
to get more information about this, and stick around for more content from AWS On Air after the news.
Great.